Come here, pups. Come on. Go pups. Go puppy. Go pups. Come on. Come on. Good puppy. Good pups. Alright, well, taking you to the vet. Ready, pups? Here we go. Okay.
You know, the craziest part is if we didn't get her, there was no way out. Would have just withered away there. But what's going on, everyone? JRez here, back with another episode. Today I am talking about one pup in particular, little Tank, who was abandoned in that little ditch, and how I came upon her, and kind of an update to her. So I actually have I have kind of like a script written out so I can communicate and talk about things in an efficient manner. But I remember this, one of our craziest rescues, that she was maybe a month old, and she was in the little ditch, abandoned in the box, had, I don't know, that little tiny bit of water or something. But she also had on her right side, like right here, was broken and healed. So that means that like 1 or 2 weeks old, she had a broken leg and it had already healed, and she still walks a little funny. But yeah, she was basically left there, and you see in the video, she's super skinny, but her stomach was super inflated. She was full of worms. I mean, she was not only neglected, but she was not very healthy at all. And so we had to take her to the vet to make sure that she wasn't sick, because all it takes is bringing one sick dog to the ranch. Could infect the whole ranch. It's happened to many rescues. You could have a distemper, you could have a parvo outbreak, a distemper outbreak. Most dogs come with giardia, so it's pretty common, especially down here. But that's how little Tank was found. But she is now living her best life. She has some trauma. She has some probably dog version of PTSD from the whole ordeal. But now she's super fat, why we named her Tank, because she is the size of a tank. And she is not really adoptable. At my previous episode, I talked about dogs that aren't adoptable and that are just on the ranch, and kind of about all that. And she is one of them. She just can't get along with other people. She's either too scared or too nervous. Good with us, fine with us. She'll come jump up on the couch and jump up in my lap and kiss my face and kiss my mom's face and all that. But she's going to be staying on the ranch. There was just too much past trauma with her. And that's one of our crazy rescues. Tank is one of ours. I wanted to do this video just on her, and the thumbnail is actually of her when I rescued her in the box. And a lot of people, they have different opinions on what you should do when you rescue, what you shouldn't do. I remember we wants to tell you what to do, but then when you actually ask for help, then no one wants to help you. We don't know if anyone else saw her there. maybe there could have been people passing by, but we were fortunate enough to get her. We were the ones to pick her up and make sure that she was taken care of. I don't know how much time she would have had. She was already very sickly, had no food, had no water, had no way out, which is the part that kind of makes me the most upset. Sure, the abandoning of the dog and all that, but like they didn't even abandon the dog in a place where it at least had a chance. It was in a ditch that was maybe 20 feet long or something, but you can see in the wall it's 3.5 4 foot wall or something. The dog's not going to be able to jump that. On the other side, same thing. And that's the most frustrating part, is that whoever did this, we don't know whoever decided to do this intentionally abandoned Tank, which is already bad enough. But then not only that, put the box there, put the blanket there. I mean, I guess if I'm, trying to give people the benefit of the doubt or be optimistic or whatever, at least she had a box and a blanket. Could have been left with nothing, but still had to put that there. She was left there. They intentionally had to get down and put it there. I don't think the box was just dropped there perfectly placed with the blanket, which means they went down there purposely, put the box there, put the blanket there, put her inside there, got back out and thought, yeah, this is a good spot. Freaking dummies. I don't understand what goes through some people's heads sometimes. It's just like, it's like a cuckoo clock almost. You're already making a bad decision, and yet you make it worse. Like, I understand some things happen, especially here in Mexico. A lot of people might not know that the culture surrounding dogs is a lot different here than it is in, let's say, the United States. And the odds are this was someone that had this puppy. It might have been an accidental litter or something, and then something happened at the home or at the ranch or whatever, and they dumped the dog. That's very common. But if you're gonna do that, I get it's a burden. I get you don't want to deal with the dog, but there's quite a few other outlets you could do besides just kind of sentencing the dog to the end of its days. That's just the crazy part, intentionally doing that. And there's arguments on both sides, hey, someone's going through hard times, someone's going through this, someone's going through this. I get that. And then you have the people that's like, well, we do this with other animals and we do this, and there seems to be no winning. But I think what we can all agree on is, if you have to make a bad decision, if you have to make a difficult choice, at least make a choice that'll minimize the consequences as much as you possibly can. Obviously, something like this, when you're dumping a dog or a cat or whatever, the people who take their dog and have to surrender it to the shelter or surrender it to the Humane Society or something. A lot of opinions about that. Actually, I want to do some videos on that as well. Have some shelters on, have Humane Society on. And that's a difficult choice. I get sometimes there's stuff going on. If you've been laid off from your job and you have a dog, you're going out all day trying to work or apply to jobs or something, can't even afford to feed the dog sometimes. I get that. I can have that conversation. I can talk to people about that. I have the empathy towards that. There's some people, it's like you get a dog and, I don't understand how you could possibly do this. I would starve and go homeless before that. But it's difficult taking care of animals when things are going right. When things are going wrong, it's just freaking poof, and you just want to curl up into a ball. So I understand both ways. and I can sit down and talk to people about decision making and why you should do this and why you shouldn't do that and all that kind of stuff when it comes to rescue. We personally, when we're adopting out dogs, we have a pretty good adoption application, and we're really good at communicating towards people like, hey, this is a 10-year, 15-year long commitment. My first rescue made it to 20 and a half years old. The little tank of a Chihuahua, blind, deaf, no teeth, could barely walk. But one of the 80-pound shepherds put their head in his food bowl, whew, they would get their head taken off. He would gum you until you weren't moving. So we're pretty good at making sure our dogs go to the best homes as they possibly can. But we have had people in the past. We adopted out a dog 6 years ago, and they're like, hey, I'm going through a divorce. I have a medical issue. My son is in the hospital, this or that. I can't take care of the dog. And, sometimes those are very difficult decisions. But intentionally just throwing a 1-month-old puppy with a broken leg in a ditch is just something that I will personally never understand. So this is the story of Tank. She's now happy, healthy, fat, living her absolute best life on the ranch, and maybe one day she'll get adopted. But in the meantime, she's just a happy girl. So this is her story, and I have a bunch more stories on dogs that I could share about. So thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.